That's right. We're back. We're
Hell
live,
yes.
getting ready to go with our second live stream. It's up, bro. So we don't know if anybody's out there. We don't know if anybody's bored. Talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're going to be playing the Cavs tonight. Cleveland, Oklahoma City. So let's talk about the game. And as you show up, we hope that you'll just drop a bunch of questions for us. Let us know what you're thinking about the game. First thing, bro, this game is a lot like the game I'm playing in the way that our team matches up, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about bigs who are good, guards who are good, and
Mm.
now we just found out, bro, we don't get Lou Dort for this game, bro. So, how are you feeling about this game against the Cavs? I've asked a bunch of people; they seem to like. They didn't know we weren't gonna have Dort.
Yeah, man. First of all, what's up, Camille? It's nice to see you, man. Um, I'm, I gotta say, I'm excited about this game. I always love having the opportunity to watch another young team compete against us, especially with a lot of young players, a lot of young talent. They play really hard. I feel like they have that right mentality. And to me, anytime that we have an opportunity to play a team like this, it's huge for us. It comes back hard, and it's nice. Like whether we win this game or not, like what we've been able to learn on the close games recently, it's invaluable for this young team. And you look at the close games and the free throw discrepancies and the different things that we've talked about in past episodes. Like these are the things that this team needs to continue to work on. So I'm pretty excited about another young team. I don't know, man. What do you kind of feel about it?
Well, let's see. The Hawks. That one left us with this lingering feeling that in the end, if we're not defending without fouling, we're gonna get in trouble. And
Yeah, man.
that's to me like the priority. So have Dort, like you said, you think maybe that was why he was out for this the fourth
The fourth
quarter
quarter.
of yeah, and then I mean with Mitchell playing at such a high level, I don't know for sure what their health level is. Garland, you talk about Mobley, Allen. You're like, yeah, I mean they have a very good team, and we were hoping to get to 10 wins. We knew we needed two more out of the last three. Now we got to beat the Warriors and the Cavs if we're going to get to 10 wins.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. My heart races when I think about this game because this is a chance for us to like let everybody know how serious we are. But at the like we're at this crossroads. We've lost two of the last three, but we've had some of our really tough games. And before that, I think if you look at it, I think we've won 7 of the last 10. So
Hmm.
this is a crossroads, bro. Like what team are we gonna get? What Jay does? Expecting a big game out of him. So like I'm
Oh
thinking,
yeah, dude.
bro, 25 for J Dub.
Well, listen, if he doesn't get 25, it's going to be because he's going to be in the lockdown defensive mode. I'm pretty excited about that. Mwani, what's up, my man? Nice to see you again. And I agree with you, Wash. I want to see how Shea reacts to this whole being snubbed as an all star starter. Now, I want to throw something in there. Now, a lot of people are still trying to figure out how serious Luca's injury or sprained ankle is. I think it's something that we keep an eye on because if Luca goes down, listen. If it's not Shea and they snub him a second time, then let's just all revolt against the All Star.
Yeah, but do you know what? Luca's like he's got the All Star nod. He's just gonna sit out until the All Star game and then be healthy for that and then going forward. You know what's gonna happen, dude. So Malawi, you said it's a team. Yeah, that's one of the things that we're concerned about. But in the end, the way that we move the ball from them work early, make them work often, and as always, we got to beat them in free throws. We can't get beat at the free throw line. That's got to be something that we've from the beginning for sure.
I think it's going to come down to, for me, I look at Shea. He's going to get his 10 plus. That's to me is one of the most consistent things this year is that Shea gets the hole and gets the free throw line consistently. I need to see Josh Giddey and J Dub get five each, maybe six each in this game. If we can do that, then the rest of the guys will figure out how to attack the hole and get the calls too. So it's all about how we're leading up to this. I'm really excited about J Dub. I'm really excited about this particular opportunity that he has to play against the Cavs. I feel like the matchup for him is going to be good. Like you said, you think he's going to go for 25. That's all due to what you believe the matchup is like. I'm really excited for him because he's just a special player, and he's finally starting to come out of his shell. And when a young player is doing that, a rookie especially is doing that, and he's starting to realize all the things that he can do, it's really special, and it's something that's unique, and it's something that I get really excited about. As a super fan of the Oklahoma City Thunder, is seeing how J Dub's been able to really make it his own, and it's fun.
Absolutely. We appreciate everybody joining us. We're just trying to about what you think about this upcoming game against the Cavs. And we try to do these anytime we can. So this is all about you. So if you're watching, drop in some questions in the chat or make some statements. We'll read them. Let's talk about your favorite players, whatever. So Camille, you said that it's all about our D. If we can get that set, we win the game. I mean, we also know how hard that is against a team that has an all-star and has, some future stars out there. So it's about defensive pressure, I think, while also staying home at, inside. That balance to me is the difficult thing. And one thing that we just saw us play was that way that J-Dub defended on the perimeter, like single-handedly created so many issues, like ripping Trae Young at the half-court line and going and dunking. Like, he consistently was able to put so much pressure on the perimeter players that the team didn't have to extend. He was the solo press. He was a one-man press. So I fucking love that shit.
Yeah, guys, and we've been having a lot of guys go to the Thunder games recently, and it kind of wanted me to throw some questions out there for you guys so that we get to know you guys better. One of my questions I want to throw there for you guys is, what is your favorite Thunder gear? Everybody has a favorite hat, favorite shirt. For me, it's the Josh Giddey all white jersey that I'm hanging behind me. I've got a couple more jerseys that are hanging. I got Shea's City Edition and Dort's Sunrise one too. I love those. I also want to know, like everybody has a favorite drink or smoke that they have during the game. Just want to know what you guys like to do. What's your favorite drink to have during the game? And also, we're always looking to improve this. So if you guys have any suggestions on how to improve this, we're all ears, and we're definitely into that whole idea of what we're trying to build here as a community. And for me, it's all about that.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, John? Glad to have you. Tell us where you're from, too. I mean, I know, Camille, you're the Wash, so I think you're from France, right? Dave's been talking to you for a little while.
Yeah, Wash, man.
My first time to talk to you, so I'm pumped up. I'm glad that everybody. I'm glad everybody's got Thunder gear. I've got Thunder gear, but I do have a number 0 Westbrook jersey. Haven't busted out for a while. Got it on Alibaba back when you could buy rip-off. All right, and because of that, I also have a Mitch McGary jersey. There. Now everybody knows my dark secret that I got that for $7 on Alibaba. All right. Pumped up about this game. Pumped up about everybody joining us for this hangout, Dave. I mean, it makes us. We're the community of people all around the world who really give a shit about the Thunder, like us, obsessed about this team. Wake up and think about this team. Go to bed thinking about this. To watch the games tonight, big game against the Cavs, bro. Big game.
Yeah. Welcome, Yitan. Glad you're here. Mentioned that you want to see more minutes for Wiggins and Mann. Get them in the groove early. We agree. We love it when Wiggins is out there hustling like he does. And
3 for 4 last night.
Yeah, and Trae Mann's shot so pure and so beautiful. It's something that, get in the rhythm early, like you said, is something that we like to see. So definitely looking forward to that for sure. And Mwani from Dallas. All right. We appreciate you being a Thunder fan from Dallas. That's pretty ballsy. And we understand that whole Red River rivalry. So, thanks for standing up for us Thunder people in Dallas.
Absolutely. Archie, thank you for joining. London, pumped up. We feel the energy all the way across the pond. We're pumped up, man. This is electric. This team has been so much fun to watch. There's never been quite like this. Like, we've seen great Thunder teams before. And when I had, like, maybe we should bust out a podcast. But I want to say it, man. I'll just tell you guys what you think. SGA and Giddey are better than KD and Russ. There. That's my idea. You can tell me how stupid I am.
Are you saying future?
I'm talking about as a city to get behind a
Okay.
franchise.
Okay.
Like there was so much tension, and there was always like at the expense of the other. And I feel
I
like
see
we
what you're
have this.
saying. You mean the way that people built it around them is what we're trying to stop. We don't want people to be like, pitting up Russ against KD. We don't want Shea versus Josh. We want
Get it?
the
Yeah.
community, the group, the love between them.
But here's the thing:
Gotcha.
those things I think were kind of amplified a little bit by the players. And one thing I love about this team is you see Giddy and Shea.
Hmm.
Everybody else is like this, and it's like
You're right.
it. It gives me a good feeling inside.
I gotta say is there was a point that where I was watching we're watching a game. I forget what game it was, but it was this, I want to say 3/4 court pass, a bounce pass at that that made it to Shea in between defenders, and afterwards Shea was running down court, and you could see Dort hitting him, saying like, "See, I told you. Look at his passing." Like obviously they're going back and forth about how good Josh's passing was between them, but it's just amazing that like you see that on the court. You see these guys talking about that and agreeing like, "Hey, good pass. Keep that up." I mean, we were taught that. Like when you got a great pass or even a pass from somebody, you always thanked him. You push him up the court. You'd be like, for me, the person that always passed me the ball was Stephen Collins. I'd be like, "Yeah, Stephen," and just give him the nod. Like that's what we were taught. And so when you see it and the admiration to the other players here, it's truly spectacular because you never really saw that between KD and Russ. You didn't see that like, you see it once in a while in big moments, but not almost every single time where they're thanking each other and recognizing what the other one did for each other. And to me, it's all goes back to the community and to the organization and how they have built this brotherhood in that locker room, and it's powerful.
Yeah, a couple of things here, man.
Anti
Wiggins is our
diva zone, John. Yeah.
yeah, anti diva zone. John, you were asking about the pace of the game with the Cavs going fast. It's got to be on the defensive end. We can't force like going fast after made baskets, but the best way to do it is going to be through getting steals. And if we can create that tempo, then we're going to be in good shape. Defense set like so. That's all points. And then on top of that, Moani, you said Coach Dagnall is our best coach, or better than our former coaches. Absolutely, same thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
like, so like I have the sense
the
that
way
this
he
team
switches things in games. Do you guys remember when we had Coach Don, right? And you would see him just keep the same lineup out on the court at the end of games that they were struggling. And you're saying, why don't you stick this person? He was doing really well. And it was like he was trying to stick it to Sam Presti, trying to show Sam what his weaknesses were.
right. That's what it felt like. It did.
And it was weird. It was this odd like tension between those two. And to me, like that started teaching me like you have to have a coherent and functioning relationship between the GM and the coach. And to me, like I look at Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault and I say these guys are in sync. He doesn't need to prove anything. He plays the players that are playing well. And Sam seems like he leaves him alone to make the decisions. And it's just a very functioning relationship, and it's fun to see.
Right. And it's not that we didn't have that before at different times, but I do think your point is correct that like with Coach Donovan, remember that whole like can't play canner thing? Right. It was almost like he was trying to tell like the GM that he doesn't trust that guy. I mean, I don't know, dude. Into that, and you love seeing a player like Jang get out and get minutes because that that's a commitment to development. That's
the development commitment that we're seeing, and it's powerful. Like years past, we haven't necessarily. Okay, last couple of years we've seen it because that's all it's been on, right? But it's nice to see when you're competing to see these guys like Jang get, all of a sudden pick up 11 minutes in a game that he just got back from. Like those are good for him. You're seeing these other guys, Trey Mann, sometimes pick up some big minutes in games. And yeah, the minutes shrink sometimes in like the Hawks game because it's a high scoring, high paced game. But guess what? These are minutes that these guys, it's more than invaluable for them. And it's really powerful to see how Coach Steve's using these minutes to get these guys better and really putting them in possessions that they can be successful in, and especially positions that they can be successful in.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. We got a new comment here that says European basketball, including a few teams that I'm familiar with and some that I'm actually not, but Real Madrid and Barcelona, a few other ones, but our NBA level teams are not capable of beating NBA teams. A lot of in European basketball and the NBL, we've seen play with NBA teams. It's not a surprise.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you have to appreciate the way manages things because he's not taking that AAU route for players. He's not taking players just from college basketball. He's really finding players like Poku and like Giddy who redefine the process of what it means to be a young prospect. So a tip of my hat to you because you're obviously correct.
And I also agree that in a 7-game series, that's not going to happen. But what I like, let's just throw it out there. What I want to see the NBA do is expand into Europe. I want to see the NBA expand into Mexico. I want to see the NBA have more teams out there that are in different countries because, like, to me, this is a worldwide game, and it's frustrating to me that we haven't started, adapting and maybe even allowing like a Real Madrid or Barcelona to be part of the NBA because why not? I mean, these are the top, leagues out there ready to spend money, and I feel like this is a moment for the NBA to expand in a big way.
Absolutely. And if you're just in the comment section, we're just here to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Talk about the Thunder, talk about other NBA teams. That's fine. If you come here to talk to us, we'll talk to you. We'll read your statement or we'll just give you an opinion. Either way, whatever you want. We've been impressed, blown away by the intelligence of the levels of fans that the Thunder have. I have to believe that they're one of the most intelligent fan bases. It's like flattery, but if you have hung out in the East Coast or other parts of the country, the people who get in the front rows and stuff don't know what the hell they're talking about. And the people who are at the games usually just watch NBA games and stuff. But Oklahoma fans, there's something that's happening right now with this team. More educated fans are the ones who are the ones like talking the most like that. But one of the things I love is you can tell how educated the fans are because a bunch of them are starting to jump up before the play happens. And you'll see it when like these guys understand the game. You'll see the bench start to get up before plays happen, but you'll start seeing the fans start doing it now. They're not the rich oil money who's just sitting there with the expensive tickets. These guys get the game. And that's why we love talking to you. And that's why we want to hear from you because every time we read a comment, we learn a little bit of something and we want to put you front and center.
And it's one of those things where as you guys are letting us know as things are going, we want to include you guys into the video live part and include you into this. So we know that John will be coming on here soon. We know Chencho will be coming on here. We're hoping some of you other guys that we enjoy talking to will come on here. And like Mark said, some of you guys are such amazing writers that we truly enjoy reading your stuff, and it creates this passion. Guys are always talking about the passion that we come out you guys with, but it's because of you guys. Like, you guys say things to us that really fucking jack us up, man. And like, it's something that you can't really disguise. And it's like, holy shit, like, what did they just do to us? And I get excited about that. One of the comments just asked us, DLOR baby. Who do you guys want to see OKC trade for or draft next year? That is a really good question. One of the things that we really don't discuss a lot about on this podcast is trade scenarios, because any trade scenario that we could possibly come up with, Sam Presti would just laugh at and walk away from. Like, there's nothing that we could do or even see that would be plausible for us to even make a trade like that, because I think Sam Presti values
let me cut you off.
like, yeah.
I'm gonna throw a name out there though, because we're not supposed to do it, but we'll do it. But I heard somebody mention on a video I was watching Daniel Gafford from the Wizards.
Yeah,
I think that he's young, and he's someone that wouldn't necessarily automatically like. I think he could do different things, but that's an exception, bro. Like a guy like him who isn't like
not a non-name person.
Like, right, but he's also a big-time contributor. He can get some rebounds. He can play defense. And like, we'll find a way to play him even with Chet. You know that because they don't have competing skill sets necessarily. They have more complementary. But like you said, we anticipate it being somebody that we don't know the name of, someone like that has been highly scouted, And by the time they show up, we're almost like, who is this guy? Boom,
Hmm.
he fits a need.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen before. It's hard to like anticipate the guys, so we can
Because
kind of give you an
didn't we
idea
get
of somebody.
didn't we get Kenny Hustle and like a first round for taking on other stuff too? Like we got a sick deal out of the Kenny Hustle deal.
Yeah,
Like
that was the Steven Adams trade.
yeah, I mean like the to me watching the way that Kenny Hustle plays, it's just another great trade by Sam Presti because we got
Yeah,
Kenny Hustle plus, you know?
yeah, absolutely, man.
And
So go ahead. I'm gonna
no,
you go and then I'll
again,
go.
like we just want to make sure that this is something for you guys. Our experience with you guys are pretty amazing. We haven't had very many people that have really pissed us off. There's been a few of you fuckers, but most of you guys are well behaved. So again, it's about creating this place. So when we ask these questions that we want you guys to answer, it's because we want to know more about you. We want to know what you guys drink on game day. We want to know what you guys do. So it's all about that. It's about creating that atmosphere, and we're going to start doing some of these that are like big games that are closer to the game, so that more people can be involved that are from Australia, and some other countries that we've been asked that we do it later in the day. But today it worked for us to do it right now, and that's why we're doing this.
Absolutely. So yeah, would the European teams have trouble in a 7 game series? Yes. I mean, but that's the thing. These NBA teams are built for these 7 game series, and we'll see what happens. I would like to see some sort of like European championship playing against the States championship. But that's like some big picture shit right there. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, here's the thing about the Thunder, Milwaukee, and the 7 game series, right? Like we think that the reason that we're seeing never like shorten up is because they're playing for a 7 game series all season long, and you never know which 10 guys are going to be available. And if you have outside of rotation guys that are suddenly asked for something, you've seen it happen over and over again. So having 15 rotational guys is key.
Yeah, Archie, I'm totally down with you on that one. The games are always better, but the fact that your game starts at 1 a.m. in the morning, that is pretty intense. That means that I would be pretty fucking wasted by then too. So, which just makes the game better.
Yeah, absolutely. Building those key habits, that is the key, right? That's what this has all been all about. The results be damned. So you're right there again, Wani. I'd love to go to a Euro League game. I'd love to feel the intensity. It
Yes,
seems like we're missing out on something here.
yes.
Maybe some of the people in charge of entertainment, these venues can go and get inspired by some EuroLeague basketball, because when you mention light smoke flares, firecrackers, and
Dude,
cursing, I'm like, that is missing.
man, listen, I watched an NBL play the other day. I can't remember who it was. This white guy that drives down the lane with his long hair and just throws it back on another white guy, right? And then after he throws it down, like the back of the backboard starts spinning, like there's firecrackers and all that other stuff and fireworks. I was like, what the hell? This is amazing, because like that's got to amp people up. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I know how amped up I get when I see a big dunk, but all of a sudden to see like fireworks and smoke and all this other stuff, like Jesus, man, I would be like coming out of my seat.
All right, so Archie, let's talk about this. Okay, who would we compare J Dub to? And um, I
Ooh,
gotta
that's a good
say,
one.
I'm sitting a little far back from my computer, and when I saw the word "seems so damn unique," you know what I read? No lie, I read, and I'm
Hmm.
like, oh shit. You know what? He kind of reminds me of Dominique
Damn,
Wilkin.
dude. Damn, dude.
There you
That's
go,
a that's
man.
a
I
nice one.
wasn't thinking it, but maybe it was just one of those magical moments, man. But I think he attacks the rim like that. He should be in the dunk contests like that. I mean, and at the same time, like I can't think of a better feeling than
Hmm.
seeing him wide open on a breakaway with nothing but him in the basket. Like when he gets that steal, it makes your heart race because you
Hmm.
thing you haven't seen before. And that's what Dominique would do, man. It was special.
Yeah, and Dominique's defense was spectacular as well. So, I mean, hopefully, I mean, that's a really good one. Welcome, Peter Nutt. Definitely great to see you from Australia. This is, again, I know it's so early for you there, so we really appreciate that you're jumping on here and being part of this.
You are a genius. And look, I just read it. You had to know what you were writing. I'm just kidding. So What do you think, man? Do we got hooligan fans in the basketball in the United States? We do in some cities, Philadelphia and
Yes.
Buffalo. Let's see who else. Us in Oklahoma City. Yep, there's us. Um,
Dude, I think about the stadiums that I've been to that have been fucking hostile as shit. And I go back to, Boston when we went to the Boston Yankees games, and we're Yankee fans. And, um, that was pretty scary, man. Like I cheer for the Yankees openly, but there's a lot of people screaming and yelling. We hear there's a lot of like not a lot, but there's stabbings and shootings after games sometimes, and high school games as well. So I mean,
listen,
hooligans is yes, not to the style that I've seen hooligans can be like in some TV shows and also some documentaries that I've read about hooligans. Like that's a whole new level. Like to travel like 14, 16 hours in a bus with everybody else that are just hyped up to go to the game, and by the time you get to the game, you're already trashed, you're already drunk. Like that's deep. That's like a passionate. I haven't seen many United States fans like that.
yeah, dude, and thank you for joining us again, Peter. It's what you say, 4:45 in Melbourne.
So
Damn,
early,
dude,
man.
it's early. Thanks for getting up. Um, I know it's crazy, man. But let's talk a little bit more, Dave. You said the Yankees and the Red Sox, and we. My theory is like you can go into opposing places as
Yeah.
long as you look a little bit crazy. Then the crazies won't fuck with you because the only thing crazy doesn't want to fuck with is another crazy. So that's my goal is to scare them because if you're a little bit crazy, then they'll stay away from you. That's my theory. There you go.
That's
Take
nice.
that advice, everybody.
I'm 6'2" and like 264, 264 pounds. When I'm about to get in a fight, the first thing I do is I take my pants off and I don't wear underwear. And the only reason is because nobody wants to fight somebody with no pants on. They think you're crazy. So every single time I get out of it.
Anyway, that's how we
What's up,
to
Gavin? Yes, Gavin.
all right. I was blank after that story, bro. It was just like and you're like, I take my pants off and that's how I fight. I fight bottomless. Like everybody else like rip their shirts off. You're like, who wants to go now? Balls jingling like back and forth like a bell.
All
All
right, man. Good
right, all
times.
right.
All right. Biggest rival for the Thunder right now, let's just put it out there, is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies. I am really stoked about this in the future. As much as I'd like to say the Dallas Mavericks are always one player away from disaster. So let's just go with the Memphis Grizzlies as the rival now and in the future.
Yeah, dude, I agree, man. I was at a game and I gave them the business when they were going back into the locker room. Dude, you should have seen Shane Battier and stuff look down because I was screaming at them. But anyway, let's see. Are the fans here as in South America and Europe? I can definitively say no. I wish it was true. I wish it was true, but no. So that's a good question. Disloyal, but at the same time, loyalty has become a part of their loyalty somehow. I don't quite understand.
I'm sorry, the comments are cracking me up, dude.
I don't get it, dude. Why don't you read up some of them because I'm still trying to catch up here. You tell me what's getting you, dude.
No, I just, oh my God, that's genius. For the love of God, Dave, keep your pants on. I wish I could forget.
Yeah, I wish we got Rui, but then again, that was three second round
Archie,
picks, I think.
Archie, that is not the first time that I've heard you don't wear underwear. And you're right. I definitely throw that out there. I lived in Hawaii, guys. All right. While I lived in Hawaii, I wore underwear when I first started there. Like week 3, man, I sweat through so many pairs of underwear. I was like, it's either no underwear or I've got to go and get like 45
Way to
pairs
go,
of
Archie.
underwear.
You got him to keep going. He was like,
no underwear, baby.
all right.
Memphis. Yes, they are physical, and in playoff series, it's gonna be incredible to see. Listen, in the future, Western Conference Finals, I think it's going to be Memphis, Oklahoma City, multiple years in a row, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is gonna be fun. Let's see. Should we in the future? Let's say we've already lost out on Rui, Dave. But I want to ask you, like, and like that in the future, do we use 3 second-round picks, first round pick, or do we save them and try to go for like? Because I mean, we hit Jade 3 picks with and Jeremiah Robinson Earl. So I don't know.
Sure. Like that's a good question, and I think that's something for it depends on the situation. Like I think Sam Presti is always looking in the draft. I think he always has one eye in the draft, one eye in the trade market, one eye in the free agent. I don't know how he has 3 eyes, but he has 3 eyes somehow. Okay, he's always keeping an eye on everything, and the reason is because when you're seeing a player like this go up for 3 second-round draft picks, I mean, you're like, okay, like in the future that would be great to have somebody like that. But you're only doing that if it's a really fucking weak draft in the second round. Like you need to know what drafts you're in and what drafts you need to be out of. And, you can look back in the history of the game and there's a shit ton of drafts that's like, yeah, I would have traded my first round draft pick on that one.
Gavin, wish we could be with you. Wherever you are, you're in the right place.
And I have to say is I love hearing this with Peter Nutt, man. The young people in Australia are starting to wear OKC. I love this, man. Like this makes me excited.
That's singlets, bro. That's a
Giddey,
jersey, bro. They call him singlet,
man. Right there, Josh Giddey. That's it.
I think a singlet is like something here in the States that like cross like a singular. They have shorts, so I think that's kind of there you go. That's another often because you can see their junk when they're running. Like,
so we call those onesies in America.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, but
is that what it is? A onesie? Okay.
Nah, dude, because
I want a onesie of the Thunder.
When you go to bed in like a onesie, a singlet's more like race. All right,
dude, that's cool though. I haven't heard that term before, so yeah. I want a singlet now. So somebody wants to do a jersey swap with me, I'm open with that.
I think they call those singlets, bro. What your jerseys? Peter, that's wrong, dude.
All right, John. There we go. Thanks, John. We appreciate it. So, anyways, I want to get back to the Thunder. Let's talk about the Thunder for a second.
Oh, really? You don't want to? But you can talk about going around pantless. But then all of a sudden, it's awkward when talking about singlets, dude.
I mean, it's not awkward.
Good. Let's get back to the Thunder, dude.
All right. Jesus. All right. Let's just talk about the game in general, because without Dort, I do feel like there's going to be an opportunity for Mitchell to go off. And I think it's something that we need to keep an eye on, because when we're looking at Mitchell and we're understanding exactly what Mitchell can do, 71 points, I think it's going to be something that we have to see who's the next man up. For me, I want to see Shea and I want to see J-Dub step up in those positions, because I think those guys can do some amazing good. And whether or not, I mean, who do you think is going to start in that Lou Dort position? I think I would. What you think, Wiggins?
That's who I think.
You're right.
Because I think he can bring that defensive
Wiggins
pressure
out there. Right. Yeah, I was going to say Donovan Mitchell between Wiggins, Josh Giddey, Shea, and J-Dub is going to create a nightmare for Mitchell. I mean, It's a different type of body every single time, and it's hard to get a score going when you're having to play against, 3 different types of 6'6".
3 different types of 6'6". I feel like that's like the name of
6'6" plus.
I know, but it's like, dude, it is like we got different lengths and we got different bodies and we got different levels of athleticism. But I mean, Wiggins but he didn't really like earn a ton of minutes there. But he shot 3 for 4 from deep and got a couple of steals and was out running. He looked great. So I want Dort playing, but if Dort's not playing, like you said, it's next man up. And John, you said Bays. You guys tell us, are we missing somebody? Is there another player that
I like that idea of Bays playing against Mitchell? I think that would be incredibly unique, and I think Coach D is definitely going to have, if Mitchell's having a game, throwing anybody out there. That's really unique. I like that.
Wow, that's a good question, Peter. Who is the most valuable piece outside of SGA? To me, it's Josh Giddey. But
hands down,
like,
without even
but here's the
thinking,
thing,
bro.
though. Here's the thing. It could be Chet. We don't know
Well,
because
well, we're talking this year though.
okay,
Like
okay,
we're talking about like to me, like yes, you're right. If we're adding Chet to this conversation,
all
then
right, bro. And
you have to give
also,
it.
Jada. I know it's like it's too soon to say like, but here's the other thing. The question earlier came, who does J-Dub remind us? And I said Dominique, but let's take it a step further, bro. You know who kind of reminds me of? Dwayne Wade. Like,
Mm,
I'm just kind of like sitting here being
mm,
like, we don't know,
mm.
right? Like, I'm so glad we don't like, because expansion style question, right? Like, who do we, peg if it's one player, if it's three players, if it's five players, if it's seven players? These are tough questions. So to me, I think obviously, I think the next three had to pick to protect one of Giddy, J Dub, or Chet. Like, honestly, man, it's like trying to decide which one of your kids' lives you want to save. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't
Ouch.
really work.
I was just gonna say what nut you wanted to say, but
There you
I
go.
mean, like we'll go with we'll go with kids instead of nuts. I mean, as long as my there we go again.
Potential
Anyways,
kids versus real kids. It's
so to me, it's one of those things where I look at Josh Giddey and I say what Josh Giddey can do now versus what Josh Giddey will do in the future is why you protect somebody like Josh Giddey. You know, like you look at the big three in my mind in Oklahoma City from this day on. You can call it the three plus. Listen, it could be a big four. I mean, let's just go with it. Let's go with the big four. All right, we got Chet, we got SGA, we got Josh, and we've got J Dub, right? I mean, like those are the four guys that, and I look in the future of this team that it's going to lead our team to conference finals, that are going to lead us to, championships, and you know what? It's going to be a mix of who's coming off the bench and who's protecting each other after that, and who's guarding down. Because to me, like it's the draft that's going to be able to keep on this fuel going because some guys aren't going to look at the Golden State Warriors. They spent 140 something $1 million on Jordan Poole for a bench player. Like
just
we
so
won't
everybody
be
can
doing
punk him.
stuff like that. You got to trade a player when he's valuable and at that moment instead of going double downing and being like, "Oh, here's 135 million dollars. Have fun." Guess what? Did you guys see what happened with Curry and Poole the other day? When they're about to lose and Curry's calling for the ball at the top of the key, no one's guarding him, and Poole takes out something out of his ass and just chucks it up. Like, listen, that's what
Yeah, Curry threw
145 million
that.
dollars does to a team player.
And Curry decided that was the time to chuck his his mouthpiece.
Mouthpiece and gets ejected from the game.
Right, that was a Poole is actually good for all the other teams. But let's say this start Wiggins.
Yes, Peter Nutt will. You're right. He will be an all-star. J Dub will be an all-star, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's so hard to it's hard to say. So start Wiggins and we automatically you're right. We're 6-0 with him starting. Yeah. Gavin. Here, good question. If we're gonna trade for a big, which we understand, like everybody always has to qualify this, right? With we don't think they will, blah blah blah. If we were, who would we use, right? I don't like Trey, like using Trey. I think Trey's upside is far too great. He has been getting squeezed out of the rotation a little bit, but that's actually by design. That's like saying, last year you were given opportunity mistakes. This year we're gonna give you less opportunities. We want you to make the most out of them. So I don't think he's necessarily like it's kind of like when you see players who are still like coaches are really it doesn't mean that they're like the GM's about to trade them as like they believe in them still. So I think this is such a cop out, but always good about like using trade exemptions and a combination of weird things to end up with what we always call it the throw-ins, and the throw-ins end up being really good players, right? But
Yeah,
like
it's
that's
the best, man.
I don't want to give up and
It's like that cream filling.
pop out.
Man, I agree. Etan Dort's having a key great season. His defense is superb. The way he's knocking down shots is amazing. And John, again, I agree. Dort, got to throw him in there as the big five because the way he locks down on defenders, I mean, he's going to be a nightmare, especially when he gets to 25, 26, 27 years old, the time that we're competing for a championship. And Like to me, I obviously look at this team and how it's been built by Sam Presti is the most impressive part. Like you got your lockdown defenders, you got all your playmakers that are just a trillion of them. You've got your 7-footers, you've got your shooters, you've got your penetrators. You know, like these guys are truly spectacular in what we're able to do as a unit. And I think that's the greatest thing about what Sam Presti talks about is it's easy to put a bunch of guys on the team, but it's really difficult to build a cohesive unit. And what we're watching right now is this unit working together, and there's nothing more beautiful than a cohesive unit working together.
Here's another thing about Trey, man. Like, I can tell that coach has a shooting that step back shot early in the shot clock. And that's the appropriate thing to do. That you can go to at any point. You need to reserve it for when the ball finds you and you have a hot potato. And you can tell that makes him a little uncomfortable. And it's part of his progression. And when you see his athletic explosion like he had on that steal and dunk at the end of the first quarter of the last game, I'm like, they're not giving up on him. You don't give away a player like him, not with his upside, not with his shooting ability, but they are asking him to play more of a team-orientated game. And that's a challenge. And if you say, do this, and then they don't do it, and they get unlimited playing time like people did last year, they don't learn. So it's really about giving him the structure and teaching him, like, a catch and shoot 3 is a better 3 than a step back crossover. So that's, I mean, he's got to learn that, but that's okay. Like, this is a very forgiving atmosphere for learning these types of lessons.
Yeah, and Mwani, I 100% agree. It's what I've been saying for a while is, you know, Sam Presti, you know, if he wanted a center, he would have been gone out and got another center. There's tons of these guys on the market right now that are big bodies available. I don't see it happening at this moment. It doesn't mean it won't happen, but I think he addresses all of our needs through the draft. And why wouldn't you? I mean, you've got so much draft capital that you can trade up and down as you please in this draft and the next draft. And there's too many players out there that fit your needs through the draft that you get a chance to develop them right now. So Mwani, I agree. John, my thoughts on Waters is this, man. Or we'll go to Elijah first. We don't have anybody special.
But actually, that's not true, bro. Everybody who we're talking to right now is our special guest right now.
Fuck yeah.
We're focused on you guys.
Baby.
You got any questions?
Hell
You got
yeah.
anything you want to say? Like, John, you want us to talk
You
about
guys
Waters?
are our guest.
Right, John. All right. Here's the thing about Lindy Waters. He has the potential to make a defensive impact. And if he does that, he will earn time. And if he earns time, he will hit threes. Early on, it was he has a chance to knock down threes. But everything has changed for him this year. He has responded to what coaches asked him to do. And I think he has the potential to be a Tony Allen style dog defender. But he has to choose that that's who he is. And then his 3-point shot will come to him. And I think we're starting to see it. He gets deflections, he gets steals, he gets blocks. But in the end, to find somebody like that, like my favorite player growing up, number 3 for the New York Knicks, John Starks, right? Like he also came from Oklahoma State, right? You have to recognize, I think John Starks was he got a chance to go and try out for the Knicks. You have to get to that point, do whatever your coach says. And you're willing to go for every loose ball, and you're willing to make defense the priority. And if you do that, like Doc Rivers always talked to these guys about be stars in your role. If you're a star in your role, then we have a chance. And be defense first. Define your game that way. And then let your offense come. He has much better offensive player. Start matching that level of intensity, then we have a really special player. I know that might be too much to ask for, but I know that that's what they're trying to guide him to be.
Yeah, and Mwani, Josh Giddey on Wednesday, you say Josh Giddey on Wednesday night, he didn't have a good half, and then the second half he responded well. And I want to say this, is that to me, I looked at Josh Giddey's first half as, I mean, it didn't go the way he necessarily wanted, right? But he made so many great decisions throughout that first half. It shows you that he can have a quote-unquote bad half, right? But still impact the game in an incredibly positive way. I love that about Josh. And to me, this is why it's so powerful to have somebody like Josh, is because it's not all about hitting the easy shots or the drives or the open shots. It's about everything else he brings to the table that's so powerful.
So Seth Curry, Patty Mills, I do.
You're gonna have to give up Trey Mann for that, right?
Right, but here's the thing: I do like the idea. Like, if you could just bring one of these guys onto your team, but at the same time, like you said, you have to give up. But also, another risk to me is you'd have to give up minutes. That guys weren't getting minutes, and I think like that to me is scary because we've seen so many teams, the players when they're young, and then as soon as they get competitive, they take those minutes away and they stop the development process.
Mm,
So that's why I keep bringing up the Usman Jang minutes. Like those weren't expected to be minutes that helped the team win.
yeah,
Like he had that potential, but the important thing was for him to get out on the court. And if they gave him that, he could get better. If they didn't give him that, he wouldn't. So sometimes you have to put development in front of winning. My theory is with the Thunder, we go back to like the early days, they always put winning in front of development as soon as they got good, and
yeah,
that made it so the younger guys didn't have a chance to develop. So you have to balance it. You can't just always put it first. You have to balance, even if you're making
sure,
conference finals, even if you're making finals. Like look at how much the Warriors benefited from the young players' development. But when did that young player development happen? It
yeah.
happened when the stars were out. Can it happen at the same time? Because if it can happen at the same time, then you can stay good.
Yeah, and I want to give out shout out here to Peter Nutt and Gavin. You guys, there's two players that I've consistently said I believe that would work well on this Thunder team. And for whatever reason, I feel like Ben Simmons would be a great add-on to this team. And the reality is that he could come on to this team and do what he does or did for the 76ers before everybody started making fun of him and be dominant. And the other guy is Patty Mills. Like the way he helps lead would be a powerful, impactful player coming off that bench. So those two guys I've circled and said if the price is cheap enough or something, we would love to add those type of players because they fit inside of what we are doing in Oklahoma City. Drive hard, drive first, look for the open shot and pass the ball. Like those are what these guys do so well. And to me, yes, am I being an Australian homer? Absolutely, because you guys have really done an amazing job at developing the players that are coming out of the NBL right now. And to me, it's just tipping my hat. Like I have yet to see a place in the world that's developing players as quickly as the NBL outside of college hoops. And that's something that it's pretty impactful and pretty powerful right now.
Absolutely. I do agree with you, Archie. Isaiah Joe, I think he fills that role for us. And over time, he'll get better at that role. And that's why I wouldn't want to make a quick trade. And not just him, there's other guys like Wiggins and Trey Mann and stuff. But Josh, do you think that we should change the jerseys or redesign the jerseys?
Yes.
I was going to say no. All right.
I was going to say yes. I'm all for getting crazy and funky with jerseys. I want to see more jersey designs.
Diversity.
Diversity. I mean, look at, like, I collect jerseys. I try to collect the jerseys. And if you have something special come up, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I want that. I want that. I can't help myself.
And
So,
I guess I'm more of a traditionalist. I'm like, why? Like, but there, you just said why, because everybody can.
Dude,
But here's the thing:
it's like
keep the
you want to wear
sunset.
Gucci to a game. Like, go pick out the best sway you got as far as a Thunder jersey, and then go wear your Gucci. I mean, like, listen, you
But
could do whatever the fuck
don't
you
get rid
want
of the
with these
sunset,
jerseys.
man. Those things were hot, man. We've been
I
winning in
love it.
those things, dude.
I love the sunsets,
All
no
right,
doubt.
so
Yes, and Archie, I do believe that Josh is closer to 6'9" than he is 6'8". I think he's huge. I think Josh is a massive being, and if you look out what he's doing out there, I think it's very clear that Josh is heads above the rest, and that's one of the reasons that he's so successful is because he's out there and he's that much higher than his defender looking over him.
yeah, John, you're right. And like early on that first half of the game, he was getting to the basket, but not finishing. In the second half, like I saw one of our commenters on one of the other videos say like he really stepped it up in the fourth quarter, finishing, and he did. And I hate it when people are like, "Oh, Josh lost the game because he missed those many shots." And you could look at the discrepancy and say, "Okay, he missed so many shots, and then we lost by this much. And if he had hit this many, then we would have won." That's simple. It's oversimplification. Led the charge. We had a chance. We played some. We didn't get it done, but everybody was a part of the comeback. Everybody
Mm.
was a part of us falling behind. It's a team game. It's a team effort. I don't like it when people pin it on one person, and it just kind of irks me every time.
Yes, Gavin, I agree with you. Adding to that jersey, doing something special, doing something unique, doing something that's just outstanding. I'm all for. Um, I'm with you, Eaton, as well. Like I want Sam Presti to keep this team together as is, not adding, because I've fallen in love with every single one of these players and the way they play with their heart, the way they shoot, the way they drive to the hole. Like even understanding every single knickknacks of that they do or idiocracies that they have on the court. To me, it's I've bought in so much into this team that like tearing it apart would feel like they're, you know, telling one of my nephews that he has to go, you know, I don't know, to war or something like that. That's fucked up. But I just don't want to see any of these guys leave.
Hey, and I I definitely understand the sentiment of bringing in a guy like Patty Mills to be the captain on the bench. You know, be that guy that can help be a teacher, be a leader. I look that feel like I just don't want to see some of the guys minutes. Let Patty play some of the closing minutes or something like that. That's fine sometimes, but look, this is fantasy land, right? Like, but if you talk about the best leaders that you can have in this league, I absolutely see Patty Mills as top 5.
Oh
Like
yeah,
just
right
like
up there.
he reminds me a lot of like Derek Fisher, kind of like, but better player for sure, a better player. But like in that, like he will be
Yes.
a coach someday. I don't. Derek Fisher wasn't a great coach. I expect Patty Mills to be a better coach than Derek Fisher. But like he
I'm
understands how
with
to
you.
talk to players, understands the game at a high level. So I'm a big fan of Patty Mills.
And then we had our buddy Wash ask, can Josh be over SGA in the future? Listen, anything's possible with this team. But I look at SGA as being a one of
Here's
those
the other thing
players
about
that you get
it's like
once
the
every
Trinity,
generation.
right? You wouldn't say one of
Yeah,
like Jesus outranked God or the Holy Ghost.
I agree, but like, good point. But I look at the way that Shea plays, right? And I look at him, and you see, you know, Josh has 4 more years to go till he gets to Shea's age. And do I think that Josh could be better than Shea one day? I mean, like, listen, anything's possible with this team. I mean, anything's possible. The way that we develop players and getting them in young age and getting them playing well, like, listen, I mean, I'm all for it. Like, if you're telling me one day that Josh is going to be better than Shea, then I mean, fuck yeah, bro. Like,
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah. It's one of those things where if you look at some of the teams that won that D word dynasty, right? They had different players that were at their peak at different times, right? Like Ginobili, Parker, Duncan, Robinson, or like Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish. I think Dennis Johnson was sometimes he was incredible there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if it's one or the other, if they're like competing with each other for that singular prize, like that's one thing. But if they're working together to compete for it, I don't know. I feel like with Russ and Katie, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. They be the best at a time, but I feel like both
Hmm.
of these guys could be at their best at the same time.
And you know, we'll go back to some of these other comments, but before that, Gavin, your comment stood out to me because I was watching the Atlanta thing, and there's very few times. Let's just be honest. There's very few times that I would rather listen to the Oklahoma City Thunder broadcast because I like to hear what the other commenters have to say about our team, and it's something that's educational for me when it's positive. But I was very fucking clearly like turning those ass wipes off the second I started hearing him trash Josh Giddey because it's like I don't get it, man. Like I just don't get it. I don't get it when you're sitting here as a professional human being and making fun of another player. Like that's where again I love, you know, Cage and Chris and the way that they're able to explain things and they're always positive, man. And like they don't, you know, be dickholes to other people, man. And that's what I got to say about that.
I agree with the Peter Delanadova comparison. I like that. And also to Dollar Baby, let's see. Two months of the past? I don't know. I'm a traditionalist. You can't like
I agree,
Dave.
man.
Dave will go
I
for it.
agree.
All right. All
I
right.
agree.
So, um, what do you think, man? And then we probably should bounce, bro. I got to put the baby
Yes.
down for a nap. All right. That's true. That's a true story, bro.
All
Like,
right, cool. I thought it was like a sex in the window or something like that, but you're good, man. We'll go with that. All right. Let's go with Peter Nutt, man. I look at Kai Face. All right, Cole. Cole wins. Josh is going to have a much better game tonight. I think he might try to stretch the floor out to the 3-point line because he didn't have a lot of success against the paint in Atlanta. You're right. I think he's going to do whatever it takes to take the right shot. And I think if I am sitting here, I'm going to dare Josh Giddey to beat us. So guess what? Josh Giddey's going to bounce back. He's going to have a fucking huge night. He's going to have 20 plus points. Listen, we saw this last year with Josh Giddey. He would have what we would consider an off night, and then he would come back and drop like a triple-double or something like that. So Josh is going to be fine. He's going to do something spectacular. I'm pretty excited.
John, we could have 3 All-Stars. I agree with that, man. It's what it's starting to feel like. Maybe 4. Who knows? That doesn't happen much. You got to start hanging some banners in the rafters if you're going to try to do that. Monty, you're right. You can't unguardable. He takes incredibly contested shots and makes them because he knows how to get to his spots, and he's got that length. He gets it done. Gavin, look, man, I listen to the other commentators too every time because I want to hear what people are saying. So,
it gives you a good vibe, Etan, it gives you a good vibe and understanding exactly what's going on. Like sometimes these other guys, and they've been in the league for 25, 30 years, and they're not that I'm saying that Michael Cage isn't some spectacular, human being in the league, but the reality is some of these guys had 20 plus years in the league, and they're out there explaining a play that you see from SGA, and it's to me it's way more meat, way more exciting. I also love my favorite commentator on my favorite broadcast team, hands down, is the Charlotte Hornets guys. If you guys want to listen to some fun people talking about games, go listen to Charlotte Hornets games. They'll fucking get you amped up like nothing I've seen before.
A lot of people make fun of them, dude, and
why?
I see why.
Woo! It makes you get
because they get pumped
but that's
up,
what
dude.
you want, dude. That passion, dude. They get so amped up, man. His calls are legendary. They're gonna look.
The Philly ones are douches. They though NBC Philly, whatever. Fuck them. Guys, that's it. We got to bounce. We appreciate everybody stopping by. Come by again.
You guys too.
We'll be by after the game. We're looking forward to seeing you guys. We hope that you guys enjoy your day. Thunder up, everybody.